They ain't got time for you to go over on the meeting. If anything, they love if you finish early, but if you don't finish early, they're clicking off. It's just weird, you know, and I can't even say weird, it's just an adjustment. Hey y'all, this is Timeka, the face behind HR, and guys, I am so excited to tell you guys about this topic because I'm excited about all my topics, but I'm really excited about this one because I really have found not only a company that I love working for, and not only an industry that I love working for, but definitely a boss, a supervisor, a VP of HR that I absolutely love working for. But I will tell you that there were some things that I don't know if anyone could have prepared me before I started working in the tech industry. So this video is going to tell you guys all about the things that shocked me or I had to get adjusted to when I started working in the tech industry. Obviously, yeah, there's a lot of like technology to get used to in the tech world. So it was so nice that my company like offered so many different things for me to like, kind of get acclimated, like options for a computer, second screen, different things to plug in, make life a little bit easier there. So that was awesome. It was expected that everything would be digital. I knew that we were like a Google company, so that we use Google email, we use Google Meets, and we use Google Docs. But oh my gosh, it was overwhelming because I had not relied solely on just digital. I've relied on it in different parts of my work, but not 100% of my work. And so for me, I started with a notebook, just like I do for my videos. I started with one for work. And so I feel weird using my notebook because so many times, some of the things that I'm about to tell you comes up and I'm like, but it's in my notebook. So if you guys want to know some of the things that shocked me when I started working in the tech industry, then definitely keep watching. So some of the things that shocked me, or I'll say the first thing that shocked me, was just getting used to the terminology. And so there was just different little things that people say that I feel have became a norm for me and has became a norm for them that I'm like, oh, well, this is the new term for this, right? So the first thing is, you know, sharing. I know sharing is caring, but Lord, in the tech industry, everybody wants you to share everything. Can you share your screen? Can you share the link? Can you share the profile? There's just sharing everywhere. And I'm like, I'm gonna give it to you. Like, I don't mind. But do we need to call it sharing? That's the first thing. I feel like I'm sharing everything, that everything's almost visible, that I can easily show someone something else. And as a result, I feel like they can do the same for me. So sharing is the first thing. Another thing is a hard stop. So you guys saw when I had Corey Jones on my video, we did a live together. And if you guys didn't see him talking about men working in the tech industry or working in recruiting, then definitely click on this video so you guys do not miss it. Watch it after this video. He talked about the same thing where initially when we first got on, he was like, hey, Timeka, I just want to let you know that I have a hard stop at 8. Hard stop. So everybody uses hard stop. That means they ain't got time for you to go over on the meeting. If anything, they love if you finish early. But if you don't finish early, they're clicking off. So people will like literally be like,
hey, I got a hard stop.
So they're probably either going to put it in the chat, they're going to tell you at the beginning, they're going to tell you when it's getting close to that time. And you better believe they're clicking off. So that's so weird to me because if you're working in person, like in an office, people don't normally just say, okay, I have another meeting and get up and walk out of the door. So it's an adjustment. It's not rude. I don't take it as rude. I do it myself. It's just an adjustment and it kind of shocked me. It was like,
oh, so they really like clicking off.
But I like it because it definitely allows you to be on time for your next appointment. No one really knows 100% of your day. And so some folks like myself, we're on and off of meetings all day and it throws our entire calendar off if we don't stop at the hard stop. So hard stop is another one. Another terminology that I had to get used to is profile. So many other countries do not call it an application or they just call it profile. Like it's not an application, it's not a resume, it's a profile. And so that's kind of weird. I think it's more common in India than it is in the UK. I primarily work with the US, UK, and India. But India will call like it a profile quick. And I get confused because I don't know if they're sending me a LinkedIn profile, if they're sending me an application, or if they're sending me a resume, or if they're going to just write up a blurb about this person or whomever. So it's always kind of interesting to see who calls what a profile. So I just get prepared for anything. Most times it's coming in the form of a link. When I click on it, I'll see what it is. But profile was definitely a new terminology that I had to get used to working in the tech industry. Now, you guys just saw me talk about working with different countries. So the next thing that I had to get used to is not a surprise, and that's diversity. And so I thought that, you know, I was comfortable in diversity. I knew I wasn't at a space where I felt like that could be my full-time job, but coming and working in a global tech company really opened my eyes. Like, I realized there's so much I don't know. There's so much I can still learn. It's just very, very new to me. And I love it because that's one reason I wore this shirt. You know, we all are humans and we think that we're all exactly alike, but we're not. English literally is not the same everywhere. And that's something that I had to learn. English is used differently depending on if I'm talking to someone in the Philippines, in the UK, in India. Definitely I'm comfortable with those in the US. English is a different thing that I didn't know was so diversified. I just didn't expect it to be so diversified. And I know that, like, I'm in the South in the US, and so I do know that I use things like y'all or child or, you know, whatever. So I don't expect the slang, but when it's regular common English and it's different, that throws me off. So that definitely, the diversity is something I had to get used to. We have ERGs, which are employee resource groups. And so I dived into them because I really wanted to know more on a more intricate level. I wanted to be an ally of all of them because I've always been a minority. Then it's really nice to see what it's like for other minorities and see what the similarities are, what the differences are, how can we work together, how can we, you know, make the world more accepting of minorities throughout the world. So the diversity was super new to me. So amazing that with it, I joined in our Black ERG for African Americans. I joined in our LGBTQ community ERG, and I also joined in our Latinx community ERG. Though we have one for the Asian community, we also have one for women. When I first started, we did some type of event that kind of captured our whole year, and the presenters, and which are the presidents of each of those groups, really stuck out to me, or the group itself stuck out to me. So I was like, no, I'm not doing all five. And over time now, I find myself gravitating more towards 2 than 3. So I'm not in our LGBTQ one as often, or attending their events as often. I'm not only attending the Latinx community one, but now I'm a board member on the communications team for the Latinx community, and I love it. My supervisor is biracial, where she's African American and Latin, and so it really, really helps me to feel comfortable. And the group is just so welcoming. I just feel like we're all a family that comes. I took years of Spanish growing up. I had neighbors for years who are Spanish, and so it was just really, really nice to kind of feel comfortable there. With our African American group, I feel like there's some more work that we could do there. And so I get there and sometimes I feel like I want to jump in and lead and do this and we can be better here. But I don't have that time. So I forced myself away from that group just because now that I'm on the leadership of our Latinx group, I'm committed to a lot more meetings. But the diversity working in the tech industry is huge. Definitely learning like how benefits go out, what marriage arrangements are like, holidays, celebrating birthdays, celebrating the holidays, like knowing that like some countries celebrate some holidays longer. Maternity leave is so much longer. Like things like that in the diversity world or the diversity realm was eye-opening to me, and I thought that it was so comforting because it's so employee focused in my opinion. I mean, obviously I think that this probably should have been the first part that I said when I talked about diversity, but one of the biggest things is getting used to so many accents. It's so many times that I'll jump on a call with someone and I feel like I get more shocked with those in the UK because the accent varies more than I thought it would and that we look so much more alike. But I'll get on a call and totally think, oh, awesome. Good morning. How you doing? Good afternoon, good evening, whatever day it is for them. And the accent catches me off guard each time. And I'm like, oh, I love it. Or it takes a bit for me to kind of get in a space where I can keep up when they start talking faster. That has been huge in the diversity realm of working in a global tech company. Another thing is just using different forms of measurement and currency. So I figured I'd have to get adjusted to currency. So we have resources there. I work with 3 different currencies, so it's a little bit easier. So just primarily the USD or the US dollar, the INR for India, and then GBP for the UK. I knew that was a bit of adjustment. I have resources. I found a comfort level, still working on a comfort level, but measurements, you know, I may say, or they may say, oh yeah, I traveled to such and such. And I'm like, well, how far is that from you? And I would hear it in kilometers versus miles. And so I'm so used to hearing miles. We talked about shoe sizes one time, and it was so weird because our teammate who is in Spain was like, I'm completely confused on how to help you guys with this conversation because you guys are talking about shoe sizes that aren't familiar to me. So that was just weird. And I can't even say weird. It's just an adjustment. It's diversity. It's where I feel like so many people want to work in diversity. And I'm like, there's just so much more to learn than just knowing that you're an African-American sister who knows that we aren't being treated fairly. Like there's so many different things in the world to know about diversity, equity, and inclusion. So diversity was number 2 of one of the things that kind of shocked me while working in the tech industry. So the very last thing that shocked me while working in the tech industry was something that I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, using digital resources for everything. Like I'm literally embarrassed when somebody asks me for something and it's like literally in my notes. I try before meetings to prepare things electronically and be prepared to like share that document, or I'll share the link or what have you, because we use everything digital. I don't use my cell phone for anything because we use Google Meet for those. Like everything is on my Google Drive, or we're sharing you know, it's just all digital, all digital, all digital. So I like it, I love it, but it's still an adjustment. Sometimes I feel like I can't get to like a resource quick enough because I'm trying to figure out like, what should I search? Where would it be? Did someone share it to me? Did I create it? How long ago did they share it? And so it's kind of weird, but it's definitely an adjustment, and getting used to working in this global tech industry. Most companies are going 100% digital. And so the final thing that was just different for me, or that shocked me working in the tech industry, is just how much people don't really meet each other. And I'm pretty sure COVID had a lot to do with it, but it was so like interesting listening to my teammates who had all worked together for anywhere from 9 months to a year, and they had literally never met in person at all. And so we were talking about like how tall someone is and their shoe sizes, and like it's just different. It's so nice. We had a town hall meeting. One of our leaders did a presentation, and she has her earbuds in so that she could talk clearly to us, which is almost soundproof to her background. And so while she's doing this elaborate presentation, her 2 dogs are going at it in the back, totally fighting over a toy, and it became like so interesting for everyone. Everyone's in the chat talking about it. And I think that's another thing that's new to me, is that so many times folks are like, well, could you put it in the chat? Can you put it in the chat? And so it's nice, like using Slack messages or using the chat on Google Meet or using the chat on Zoom so often, and still creating a cohesive, welcoming, equitable community where our culture is just amazing from it. I think that it's nice that you'll see folks put in pictures in the chat so that, you know, people are in different time zones and still find themselves to be up late at night just so that they can be active in the chat for different things. And so though there's a lot that shocked me working in the tech industry, I think that it's an amazing, amazing accomplishment for myself, because it's really opened my eye. I was looking for a challenge in my career. I was looking for something where I didn't feel like I was doing a mundane same thing every day, and I truly feel that way. So I'm so excited about being in this space. I don't see myself leaving out of the tech industry anytime soon. I definitely love working from home. I've found an adjustment to that too, and that was a bit of a learning curve myself. But overall, these things shocked me, but they were like a welcoming shock. It was just being more educated, more well-rounded. I hope that through this whole thing, if you guys feel like you watched this video because you want to work in the tech industry, I hope that you see that there's just such a difference there when going into that space, and that is such a good place to be in. As usual, guys, I am just always excited about every single video. This one is a tad bit different from what I would normally talk about, and some of my videos are going to be a little different moving forward, but I hope that you guys truly enjoyed what shocked me when I started working in the tech industry. Thank you so much for returning. For those of you who are my continuous supporters and subscribers, for those of you who are new, welcome to the community. I'm so excited to see you here, and I just cannot wait to see all of you on the next video.